Now, for 3 months, no schooling has taken place in the Madibogo Village outside Mahikeng in the northwest. This follows protests by the community demanding tarred roads. More than 2,000 learners were expected to return to class this morning. eNCA reporter Malungelo Booi is tracking the story for us. Malu, of course, the obvious question is, did those learners actually make it to school today, and how did it go?
That's right, Shahani. In fact, we're told over 2,000 learners were affected. Protests that characterized this village for about 3 months. The schools, Shahan, that have been affected were 3 of them. In fact, one of the hardest hit schools is a high school here. It's one of the worst performing schools in this particular region. We've also seen, Shahan, pupils coming to school this morning, very excited, but not a very large number of pupils coming out today. In fact, on the first day of school. In fact, at this high school, this high school that I was talking about, though, there's about 270 pupils that were present at school today. The high school has about over 1,000 pupils. We are told, though, Shahan, that about 70 of those pupils, matriculants, have been taken away to a matric camp so that they can be assisted. But when you visited, when I was visiting some of the other schools, like the other 2 primary schools, I also didn't see a lot of children. In fact, even though I was not allowed access inside, I could tell by the number of pupils that were playing on the school play yards that the turnout was not as great as authorities would have wanted. But also what was interesting to see was how excited most of the pupils that reported for school, especially at this high school, were when they arrived at school today. In fact, I managed to speak to 2 grade 11 pupils, Shahan. Let's take a listen at what they had to say to me earlier.
When they started to strike, this thing, it's really affected us because of now everything is just messed up. People, they were about to write their final exam very soon. Now we don't know what should we do because we didn't even try to study at home. So I think now it's time for us to take our work seriously, focus on our studies, listen to our teachers very carefully.
Yeah, thanks, sister.
I will need extra time, make sacrifices to come to school on the weekends.
Well, Malu, of course, those pupils saying that they need more time to study to make up for the lost time. Do we know if there'll be extra classes?
Well, this particular high school has already indicated, Shahan, that every day they'll add an additional 2 hours to their schooling program. And of course, there will be Saturday classes that those pupils will have to attend until really the end of the year. But what's interesting here, Shahan, I think it's interesting to point out that what we're currently seeing here in this village today comes after residents and community leaders met with a group of MECs on Tuesday, where it was agreed that the pupils must go back to school, while officials from the Northwest government ponder how they address the service delivery concerns that this village has. The community members have given the officials about 21 days to sort out their service delivery needs, Shahan. Otherwise, they will go, they said, otherwise, if nothing happens, they will go back to protesting and preventing these pupils from attending schools. And of course, residents in this village are saying that it's time also, Shahan, the national government steps in because they can no longer trust the Northwest government. In fact, the issue of the road, Shahan, they're saying that the promises to tie it were made as early as 1994, but nothing has been done.
And you spoke to someone earlier about the impact this is having on pupils, the fact that they haven't been able to go to school. What are they saying about that? Do they even care that these pupils are not getting the education that they are entitled to?
It's quite interesting, Shahan, because they're saying that preventing children from going to school is their last resort. They're trying to teach government here a lesson. They're saying that they understand that they are inconveniencing their own children, but they have no other choice to do what they've done in order to have government to listen to them.
Now, Malo, before you go, I know that you say they've given government an opportunity to get things right and they've given them a timeline. If this doesn't really happen, do they go back to the streets? You said yes. But is government coming up with a counter plan for how people react to them being slow on this?
You know, Shahan, this is not the first time this community finds itself in this similar predicament. Last year, the same thing happened, and it's happening again. And this is what these residents are saying to me, that we are tired of being not listened to, because they're saying that the only thing government understands is when people take to the streets. And I was asking, in fact, Shahan, one of the officials, as to why it's taking them so long to deal with this problem. In fact, I was saying that the meeting that you had on Tuesday, it's a meeting that you should have had in February in order to avert this crisis. The education official said to me that as education officials, they tried to deal with this problem as education officials. What they did not do was to bring other officials from various government departments to the table to help address this problem. Well, it was very tardy of them, Shahan, to think that they would be able, as education officials, to think that they would be able to deal with the problem that does not only involve education, that involves several government departments. And of course, that official was saying to me that they are hoping that they will have a meeting with these residents very soon before the 21 days lapse.
All right, thanks for the insight. Appreciate the reporting. Malungelo Booi is in Mahikeng.